Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning into Anfield Road TV. I did have a very amazing panel. I still have, but I've had this show was meant to start at 7, and it was my end. Me getting a new desk, me being me, So utmost apologies for people that the panelists that can't make it this evening. I did have a lot more people coming on, but I'm joined by some people might jump in and out as well, but I'm joined by three absolute legends. Hopefully, going to be joined by Owen Ends potentially as well, and obviously Jamie, Connor, and Mickey might potentially be popping in also. But gents, hope you're well. I was saying off camera and chat, as I said, is why I wanted to do a show. We know how important Liverpool Football Club is to every single one of us, most importantly, and we all are probably down in the dumps. But I think as Liverpool fan base, we've just got to stay together. Obviously, we've been on such a high the last couple of years. But introducing Nigel, Ricky, and obviously Spider. You know the faces anyway, the regulars. Gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in as well, everyone. Nigel, I'll start with you. I was just saying off camera, mate. Just your general quick thoughts on obviously the game yesterday and just how you're feeling in general, mate.
Yeah. Well, kind of like it's a bit like I'm feeling a bit about as empty as our midfield at the moment. Like we were, God Almighty, it was awful yesterday. They just the second goal, they just walked straight through us, and you see Robbo coming across from left back to try and cover Solly March just before he got the shot off. Why is Robbo having to come across to the other side of the field when there's nobody tracking the run inside? They just they didn't have to do anything. They just walked straight through us. It's so disheartening. Like,
yeah,
and I'm in work and I'm having to listen to a pile of Man United fans shouting at me.
We've been giving them stick for 10 years, though, boys, haven't we? I think always have. But I don't think. Well, we're all hoping it's not going to be as long as it was to win the Premier League. But yeah, 100% agree with Nigel. Ricky, you went out, got absolutely smashed off your tits, didn't you, yesterday? Is that how you coped with it, lad?
Oh mate, I was watching Gillette Soccer Saturday. I had my mate round. He's a Man United fan, and obviously
They all started coming out now, have they?
Yeah,
their houses.
We watched the City Man United game at lunchtime. Obviously, they won that game, so he's sitting there on his high horse. We got absolutely spanked by Brighton, and then I'm seeing it's toxic on social media as per usual. But I think Klopp's playing the game. I think Klopp's trying to prove a point. I think Klopp's trying to expose certain people, certain players, that they're not good enough no more. He's trying to expose FSG in his own way. With look what I'm having to play with. Look what I'm having to bring off the bench. This season's done. Top four's done when they're 10 points off top four. I'd happily tank the rest of this season and avoid them Europa spots, because what's the point of going in that? You might as well just miss Europe altogether.
A lot of distractions, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, we don't need the Europa League money really. It's peanuts. Not that we've got any money anyway. Yeah, I just write this season off. It's done. Then I still stick by my point that I've been making for months. Jurgen Klopp will walk in the summer, and then you're going to see exactly where this club is under FSG without Klopp.
Yeah, and that's why I got quite a very varied panel as well this evening. Obviously, it is interesting. That's one thing I was saying to the lads as well before we come on here, and everyone. We all know how important, speaking obviously everyone going to work and all that, and just mainly everyone's happiness really, because it is Liverpool. It's basically our church. We sit down, go to match every single week, and hoping, praying that Liverpool get 3 points. And to Liverpool as well, and especially the football club and the city and just everything about Liverpool Football Club, Jurgen Klopp as well, this team, which has been together for quite large periods as well. As everyone just stick together. And I said, regardless of obviously different people will be having different thoughts and opinions about the Reds, you just got to respect it. But we all know the small minority for some of the stuff I've been seeing on social media has been absolutely, quite frankly, disgusting. But yeah, we don't give the toxic negativity to them. Owen, thank you very much, mate. As I said to the gents that did tune in, and obviously chat as well, utmost apologies. Hope you're well, mate. And yeah, apologies that I'm half an hour late.
No worries. I mean, it's fine. There's nothing else to do tonight. Real Madrid, Barcelona. Who gives a monkeys? We've got Liverpool to talk about. So it's a delight to be here. Thanks for having me on, and great to see you all guys in the panel here and in the chat. So
legends.
Thank you.
Yeah, always welcome, mate. Everyone, I'll quickly wrap through all these comments as well. So apologies, everyone who wondering where it was. It was my fault. But I feel nothing will be getting done. Yesterday was a chance to change the formation, try something different. Because right now, 4-3-3 with that midfield ain't working. And quickly run through the quick agenda as well. We're going to be quickly glossing over, but we'll have plenty of shows where we've got a lot more time this weekend. Get everyone's thoughts and opinions on it. FSG's lack of funds, KLOPP, our feelings around them at the minute. Player mentality, that'll probably, some of these might be separate shows as well, but just what's to come this evening potentially. New owners, contracts on players. We've got a little graph where we can identify where the money will be saved potentially in the future. And obviously, I've already mentioned the togetherness as fans anyway. And big up Shay. Seamus, big up Wiggs as well. Absolute legend, mate. So we've had a good day, matey. The Telegraph is saying FSG are expecting bids for the club next month. Sounds like a typical FSG PR spin to ease fans' concerns. The sooner they sell, the better. We need the owners that care for the club. I think all of us, everyone on the panel tonight, mate, fully agrees with that. Jack, forget. No, mate, me with technology. So I really do apologise, everyone. The academy is doing better for the first time, even though we both draw yesterday. Can't rely on kids, though, 100%. Yeah, something about a bid from Qatar. Yeah, we will see. Time will tell on that matter. But yeah, was money out of the club. Yeah, we'll be quickly glossing over that tonight. Henry, no probs, Jack. Big up everyone. But Spider, quickly, we'll get straight into it. FSG's lack of funds for Liverpool Football Club. Everyone knows what they've done in terms of the stadium and the good things and the negatives. But your just general thoughts, have FSG in their tenure, especially over the last 5 years, where Liverpool and especially Jurgen Klopp has brought Liverpool Football Club to the pinnacle of world football. We all know, but I want to know your thoughts. Do you feel FSG should and could have invested more in the manager and first and foremost in the playing squad in making it better?
Yeah, I would say if the only way I can say it starting it off is if Jurgen Klopp wasn't the manager, would we have seen the same results? Would we have seen the same trophy haul? We would have seen the same thing with the amount of funding that they've put into the club? No. Have they reshaped us and modelled us in a good way? Yes. But that's all business. I don't care about business. I want to see it happening on the pitch. I want to see it return after return after return. As you said before, Liverpool weren't the team that went out and bought when we were desperate to buy. We were a team that had already made people ready to go before even the end of careers of other players, if you know what I mean. So we were ahead 2 years in advance. Everything was done and dusted. I just kind of find that kind of started disappearing in the 90s when the money started disappearing, and definitely when Hicks and Gillette came in, we were buying players for pennies. Did FSG turn it around? Yes. They've done what they could in the last 10 years since owners. Was it 10, 12 years since owners? But it's come to the point now where it's just left fans frustrated. You know me, lads. I hate transfer windows because it just brings out ITKs. Like I just find these fantasists, living in these bubbles, and then these other people that just love FIFA. Or, you know, no, not like
not
that.
me, chat. I've never done a transfer video, Spud.
No, I would do a transfer video if the transfer stuff was legit and it wasn't just based on ITK rumors. You know what I mean? That's the kind I am. So you've got all of this kind of going on for years, and it's just created this. It's even created it more so because FSG don't spend. You know, that there's just always, it's just like a need for, like, it's made these guys more desperate to create fantasy scenarios, and it's made more people desperate to fall for it and be gullible for it. So that kind of aspect I hate about the transfer window, because it just makes people stupidly angry, and it's all based on nonsense for me. So have FSG done enough in their tenure? Yes, to the point that they steadied the ship. No, to the point that they left us become an absolute powerhouse. KLOPP created us made us a powerhouse in the way he's what he's done for us, what he's done for the club. But he can only do so much with a battered squad, because spade a spade, the squad is battered, it's knackered, it's mentally unfit. It's said, this is my 1,000th time saying it. And he can only do so much with that. If he, as if Ricky said, if he is playing what he's playing to do one over an FSG and to prove a point, then that's probably the only thing he can do, because he hasn't got the players to do anything else with. You know, so he can only play whatever's in front of him without risking too much. But if you think that I just seen something the other day, and I was looking at it, and the probably our best 11 only ever started a game once.
Was it the midfield? I bet we've all seen the numbers.
Our best 11 only ever started a game once, and that was the Champions League final against Spurs. Our best ever 11 in a tenure under KLOPP. They've never started games prior to that.
Someone told Hendo that question. Didn't he? He asked him a couple of weeks ago, and he's very surprised. But, no, you're spot on.
It's ridiculous, man. So, like, we now need owners that are going to come in and fund us, look after the squad, protect KLOPP, and protect what's left of good. Even if he hasn't got faith in some of the players in the squad, he at least has to protect what the players have done for us. So, like, I can't hold the players to ransom over the season that I haven't, because I have to keep a level head about what season we had last season. And like the United are saying that they're in 4 competitions this season. Let's say they do go to all of these finals, right? And let's say that they do get involved. Like, are they going to have the same excuses next season, or are they going to be backed? You know, and that's
Howard Webb's. Howard Webb's doing a great job, as we know already, in the PGM LO or whatever it is. He's the head, or he's got a very big job, as we know. But Ricky, off the back of what Spider said there, mate, I know you've very pressed for time, so appreciate you jumping on, mate. Your thoughts, and obviously I'll just quickly rattle through what Wiggs has said, and obviously Philip, we'll get on KLOPP, mate. As I said, it will do another video this week if we very much run out of time this evening, mate. As Wiggs said, every good team builds on the success every summer. We didn't do that after UEFA Champions League. It's been odd signing here and there. You don't see teams like City sitting on their previous success. Similar with Manchester United with Fergie as well, Wiggs and chat, as we know, and obviously the great legendary teams that have forgone over the last 100 years of football. And as they're big up, fully, I think all of us agree on that, mate. We will speak about that. Ricky, your thoughts, mate? General thoughts? You can come out swinging if you want. It sounds.
We know, you know how vocal I've been about FSG over the last couple of months, over the last season and a half. I keep hearing nonsense that FSG are great owners. They've been great owners for Liverpool. They haven't. They've been good owners at best. They've done more bad things than they've done good things for me. I keep hearing FSG's won us the Premier League. They haven't. Jurgen Klopp won us the Premier League with a team that shouldn't have been nowhere near winning the Premier League for me. The money's embarrassing, what they've given Jurgen Klopp over their tenure. Got a stat for you, right? Someone sent me this earlier, and I've got this. It's so depressing. Chelsea have nearly spent the same amount, 468 million, in the last 6 months. Liverpool spent 500 million in the last 10 transfer windows going back to 2018. I mean, it's embarrassing. We get treated like a bottom half club in the transfer market.
You see
in
that,
terms
Jens?
of funds.
Or chat?
Yeah.
Speaking of transfers, this is I'll quickly have a little look there. So you got this season, 2022-23 season. This is, of course, transfer balance for the Premier League, transfer activity over the last 5 previous seasons, and then you can go back all the way in 10 years. But we'll have a little look at this in terms. Look at that chat as well. And 1.6 billion spent in the Premier League. That's ridiculous in itself, anyway. But as we can see there, gents, we've had one net positive season, and that was the 1920. Was that the Coutinho season, gents? For Liverpool.
He left in January 2018, didn't he?
Yeah,
2018.
There's all this talk, Jack, about like net spend FC, and that we've been really good at net spend, and I've been proud of that as well as a fan to say, right, we've done the business under that, but that's not down to FSG, that's down to KLOPP.
Yeah, that's
KLOPP won us the Premier League on net spend, and what would he have done if we were spending like the other teams?
This is why I wanted to bring you spot on there. It's why I wanted to bring it up. So you look at Liverpool's minus 287 over the last 5 previous windows, and just look at the difference. That's nearly a £400 million difference on Manchester United. Yes, money doesn't always guarantee success. People will probably jumping on that now.
Yeah, they haven't won anything in that time, Man United, right?
Yeah. But they didn't have a KLOPP, did they?
Like give him the extra 250 million, and he wins the league year after year.
Yeah, Manchester City. Where are those frauds? There we go. Manchester City, which is mad. I don't know how accurate that is, but they're on minus 243 million. So Liverpool.
Well, we all know how that is, Jack, because all of these little companies come out and invest out of nowhere. And that's how they balance their books. So let's call a spade a spade. I mean, they've been money laundering for years, that crowd. They've been washing the money, keep the books down. Yeah.
Mickey, did you conclude on your point, mate? I was just saying, I was only just bringing up those.
I just think they've been all right owners for us. They've obviously built the stands, the training ground they never paid for. Everyone keeps banging on about the Glazers take money out of the club. Listen, FSG are taking money out of the club. Make no mistake about it. There's no way Liverpool have no money to spend after winning the Champions League, the Premier League, being to 2 other Champions League finals, the money that generates.
I was looking at the revenue. Sorry, there, last minute. I was looking at Champions League revenue as well, boys. I did do kind of research, but when you look at the revenue for the Champions League, as we know, it's in excess of 80-odd plus million euro. So that's probably equates to probably about 70-odd million, 72 million in today's market. You compare, obviously, the TV rights, the kit deals for Nike as well. And we'll have a little look. Can I quickly bring this up?
TV money alone, Jack should pay for that.
Yeah.
You win the Champions League final. If you win the Champions League, you get 150 million at the end of it throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
And we win a bought Sepp van den Berg and Adrian. So where's the 150 mils here?
Yeah, there we go. This is people go, yes, we've give contracts to. So we'll go, and that's a whole another. I've got another show. So the players that have got 1 season left on their contract. If you look at it, Liverpool didn't offer any of these players a contract extension, apart from potentially Bobby. You're looking at saving £33 million over the next 4 year period. So it's absolutely madness. And you look at the contracts as well, Nigel, in terms of this. What's your general consensus, really, mate, on FSG?
I sent the comment in there. We've been a sell to buy. You know what I mean? We sold Coutinho. We wouldn't have had Alisson, and possibly not Adrian either, but and Virgil without
Dom Solanke, Jordan Ibe, Sacco, Benteke. Any other players, boys?
I said this to Jack about a year and a half ago. I said we're the most successful sell-to-buy club in history. I think because we've won trophies by selling players and just recapping the net spend. So when we're calling net spend FC, that's just sell-to-buy. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. We bought the two players who gave us a backbone, or helped give us a backbone, Alisson and Virgil, and suddenly everything clicked into place because we paid £34 million for Mo Salah. You can imagine Chelsea going out and spending Manchester City 80 or 90 million on these strikers. I don't know what did Chelsea pay for that guy today, and gave him an 8.5-year contract.
100 million. 100 million euro.
100 million euro, but it's the add-ons are very hard to make up. They need to win the Premier League and the Champions League to get most of the add-ons.
80 million for
still 80 million. It's what we'll be paying basically if our add-ons for Darwin Núñez came up.
Yeah.
But yeah, and who's the ones that are getting slated in all these little, talks around like this? Darwin Núñez, 100 million. Where?
But, 64 million pounds he was. Yeah.
Exactly. And suddenly it's 100 million. But anyway, it's like they rescued us from a really, really bad situation. We were on the verge of going into administration. That worked really well.
Yeah,
they did well up to a point, but we're at a stage now where sell-to-buy doesn't work, and we can't go any further with them as owners. Simple as.
Even at that age, I think even if the EAC came in that time, they would have, whatever about administration. I don't know if we were really going to go into administration, but I know we were strapped, and they were after putting us into a massive amount of debt because of what they were trying to do with the plans with the new Anfield and all of this and that, and it was already after costing us like 200 or 300 million. So which is, I think it was just a way for them to make money under the table.
Keep on getting comments in chat.
Yeah, as Hicks and Gillette. Because they were scumbags. That's what they are. They were absolute under the table scumbags. So we kind of dodged the bullet with them. FSG, they did take us away from that, but they're a business, and their business is to make money. At the end of the day, they'll invest small, and the returns will be at least 6 times the amount of what they put in, and that's just the way their business model is.
If anyone's watching that has got probably good an accountancy degree or is good at business, let us know. Drop us a message on Twitter, because I'll try and get someone on that actually, and we'll do a show one night this week or something, or next week.
Do you boys
add the figures all up and see where they are?
That's Jack's way of telling me I'm not smart.
Do you boys believe that FSG give Klopp and the club the money we earn? They don't reinvest it. I don't see this money being reinvested in the squad, in the club. We make a lot of money. We're probably on par with Man United at the minute in terms of commercial money, where Man United are at the minute to where they were previously. We make on par with Man United the most commercial money in the Premier League, bar Man City's dirty little deals. We don't see the money coming back into the club. So where's it going? Like, I see Liverpool fans saying, that FSG are great. They give Liverpool all the money they earn. No, they don't.
No, they don't.
No, Sepp Vandenberg ain't all the money we earned that summer or that season.
Yeah, go look at the 3 club tops in Liverpool. They're incredible.
I think FSG have used Klopp in a way, because he's such a genius for creating world-class stars, that they've used him as an excuse not to spend money. Because I think they hit. That's what I believe anyway.
Yeah. Owen, your thoughts, mate? Nice.
Yeah, it's all very interesting. These are really good points. Where is the money? There is just to play a little bit of devil's advocate, because I agree with you all basically. I would like FSG to either invest heavily immediately, using the money that we've earned to fix it's not just holes in the squad. There's entire rifts. There are huge gaps. It's that are the size of, I don't know, the one in between Madonna's front teeth. It's massive, and it's obvious that we need to fix it. But to play a little bit of devil's advocate, maybe in that that summer when, for example, we only brought in Sepp van den Berg and Adrian, that Klopp felt that we didn't need anyone, and we did end up winning the league on the back of that, maybe. But also there's something regarding the financing that people aren't talking about really, is that we've got owners
wages as well. I'd add to that, and people would like to try and play a devil advocate. Wages,
wages on top of that
when you're
well.
winning
to
as well, bonuses
finance,
as well. And
no, but my point is, like, to finance a football club, you can do it sustainably, or you can do it unsustainably, and unless you're in the current climate, the popular opinion will say that you need to invest a shed load in order to compete. That Klopp has shown is not entirely true. But if, let's say, it is true in this case, obviously we need a hell of a lot of investment now. Of course we do. But we have to also think about the good of the club. And I'm not saying that FSG have got the good of the club in their mind all the time. I'm just saying that their sell-to-buy policy and the relatively low net spend does mean that we haven't taken financial risks. And that is a good thing, because I wouldn't want irresponsible spending.
Yeah, I've praised them. I've always praised them for that. But I mean, that's why I always said we're the most successful sell-to-buy club. But that's not a bad thing. But it is a bad thing when we're left with needing probably an extra defender, 3 midfielders, and probably it's only when it catches up with us is when it's a problem. So own your spot on, because I think that I think they've done well with keeping the books balanced and doing all of that, because that's what a business should do, and it should make profits on top of profits. But I would also like to see, at least every second window, the majority, at least let's say 38-39% of those profits going back into buying players. If I saw that, FSG is making their money, Redbird at their 11% are making their money, always down to LeBron James at his 2% are making their money, and there's 150 to 180 million minimum that's going back into the club every second window. Then that'll be grand, but we're not seeing that now. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Sorry there, boys. Vicky, I think you've got to shoot in a little second, haven't you, mate? Any closing thoughts, mate? We'll do plenty of shows this week with everyone. I'll get a lot more people on. Get the digital ads on again if he's available this week, mate. Any points that you want to touch on? FSG, lack of funds. We're talking about that now. Klopp, player mentality, new owners potentially. It's quite a lot.
Just FSG need to leave now. Like, I wish they could go tomorrow morning, pack their bags and go back to underfunding the Red Sox, underfunding the Pittsburgh Penguins, going to find $4 billion to go make a fantasy basketball team with LeBron James, who's bringing out one of the worst football shirts I've ever seen in my life, a limited edition for Liverpool.
I've had me rant.
Yeah, and the last thing, I just want to know why there's a lot of Liverpool fans out there that are more FSG fans than Liverpool fans these days. There's a lot, and I mean, there seems to be more and more piping up that FSG can't do no wrong, and they're the best thing since sliced bread.
Liverpool fans that apart from when obviously Hicks and Gillette, and obviously in our 130-year history, fundamentally as football fans, Ricky, and just your closing point, mate, we should only care about the things happening on the football pitch. We're not financial experts. Some of you might have a degree, some Liverpool fans or football fans in accountancy and everything and finance. But I don't care about it as long as Liverpool, and I think all of us do, as long as Liverpool are being successful, which we have been over the little period since we've had Jurgen Klopp over the last 3-4 year period, the levels we've reached. But there's too much probably sort of, this is probably what's very much distracting the players as well, fundamentally, mate, behind the closed doors for me, I feel.
It's just like I see a lot on social media. Liverpool fans, it's like FSG saved Liverpool Football Club. They never. Let's be honest. Let's be real about it. Liverpool were a big, big worldwide football club. FSG didn't come in. Someone else would have bought Liverpool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of billionaires out there, millionaires out there. Liverpool were going for cheap at that time. There were so many offers on the table. FSG were the preferred bidder at the time for some reason or another, I don't know why, but they would have preferred bidders. But there was bidders queuing up to buy Liverpool Football Club. Let's not just say FSG, say Liverpool Football Club. We would never go bankrupt. A club our size would never go bankrupt.
Fully agree, La. Shout out your channel, please, La. And obviously, you and Luke. Obviously, you're on TikTok now, aren't you, boys?
Oh, mate. Do you know what?
Are you doing dances? Are you doing dances?
Yeah.
Do you know what?
Ricky be doing dances if FSG go, like, yeah, I'll tell you that.
Oh, mate, I'll have a party on TikTok when FSG go. But yeah, 1892 Reds TV. We're live tomorrow doing our Wolves FA Cup replay preview.
Liverpool win, Ricky, do you reckon?
No. We're going out the FA Cup, people. And then Thursday, we've got 2 Chelsea fans coming on to talk nonsense about the game coming up on Saturday and how one of them is going to justify Todd Bowley spending all this money and think it's fine.
Is it me 2 favourites?
Yeah. Come and watch Dumb and Dumber. Come on the channel and try and justify spending 500 million in one season.
Yusuf and I think he was in the comments.
George. Yeah, George is in the comments.
Big up both of you, absolute legends. But Ricky, I'll let you go. I've had you long enough, mate. Appreciate it, mate. Have a good night.
You too. See you later.
Cheers, mate.
Take care.
But gents, just a thought of us there.
Ricky's right, because I mean, he's always called a spade when it comes to what FSG are like. We all know that in the back of our minds. We're just trying to stay as positive as possible, because I don't think we wanted to upset the apple cart. You know, we wanted them to actually try and invest every third window like they do, and not, you know. But now we're at the stage where they only invested in the forward in the summer when we already had Jota, Luis Diaz, Mo Salah. You know, I know we've got Gakpo in again, which I understand. I understand the mindset of that, where they wanted to create a balance that if the midfield was fully fit or somebody was fully fit there, that then we would have, you know, the forward line to back it up with Diaz and Jota out. I get it, but there was my like, where the question I have to ask is, Klopp wanted too many, and it's like they missed out on somebody that we never really had. And where was option B, C, and D? You know, like, why wasn't it done? Like,
Mio and Nigel have done loads of podcasts on KLOPP on, haven't we, boys? At that time as well. It's very disappointing, mate. Sorry, lad, I'm just going to rattle through all these comments. Absolute legends, and then we'll obviously talk a little bit more on KLOPP and any other talking points you'd like as well. Chat anything that you want us to talk about, or just engage in comments.
No, but they're right about that. Well, it says 2.5 billion. Now, I think the club was valued the last time at, I think in euros anyway, at least 4.8 billion, which is just below what I'm guessing out to that.
Yeah, so, I'm guessing you're American, mate. Obviously, I think you're new round here, so big up to your old school Mac boy. Big up, Mac. Other people talking Boston is that they only wanted to sell 20%. They needed revenue for the club to fund the socks. If that's the case, potentially, we'll never know really, truly, will we? Big up. And as Hannah fully agrees,
the fans won't have that over here.
But we've been far too complicit, though, mate. I think, as we've already alluded to, like, for half an hour in, I think especially, I'm just me. I do YouTube and people go on a match and all that. The club, multi-billionaires will never care about us fans. And you look at it in the modern day era of football anyway, they've never truly. If you have billionaires, about 10 of them sat around the table, it's all right getting these fan represented boards, but in reality, unless you're a billionaire yourself, you're not going to have.
I think that's mainly down to American consortiums as well. Anybody who keeps bringing in these little,
just any business people for that matter as well, mate.
I find that if it was somebody, when you look at what's kind of gone on around the league, if you're kind of going to more the Asian market, they seem to be better owners of football clubs because they appreciate the sport a bit better than what the Americans do. Because I think the Americans just see it as a cash cow.
What do you say, Nigel? General thoughts on that. Do you think Liverpool fans potentially could have, in the last couple of years, been a bit more vocal?
Yeah, I think they could. You see, the problem is, like, when FSG laid off the workers, then they were vocal,
and the ticket prices as well. Remember,
and the ticket prices, then they were vocal, but because things were going well on the pitch, I think tendency not to see this coming. A little bit. So now the vocals might get a little louder.
They should vocal up to protect the players now, not just the fans and stuff. Because the fans, we always step up when the fans need help, but now the players need help as well. I like, even if some of them are done, I don't care. The team and KLOPP needs help, and it should be us with the team and KLOPP versus FSG, really, if it comes down to it. So they just need to answer for why they haven't backed.
Yeah, spot on.
Dead right.
Big up Ends as well. Obviously, Ends, we'll be getting Ends on very soon. He was meant to come on, but obviously my technical issue, massive support of mine and everyone's content. So please, Mark, if you can drop, I think Ends might be live tonight. I know he is doing a couple of shows anyway, but please do head over, subscribe. Obviously, Endsman TV as well, Mark. I think he did drop the link in, but if you can drop it in again, please, for me, matey, or one of the mods, appreciate it. Wiggs, Jürgen's done an incredible job on 100%. Henry, all FSG's accounts are available online, and there's more to the running of the club than just buying players. They've built a lot of infrastructure. The Swiss Ramble have done an excellent breakdown of all FSG's. Well, I'll have a Hannah, if you can try and drop that link in the chat, if it allows you, you should be able to. We'll quickly try and get that up. But appreciate that, man. The money has gone to fund their other sporting ventures as well. There he is. How are we doing, George? Speak to you soon, lad. Anyone who's been to Liverpool was their own gain, their business event. What's happening? Big up Level. Hope you're well, mate. Hope we have as I said, all of us are down in dumps watching Liverpool currently, but got to stick together, every single one of us. Owen, Jürgen Klopp. As I said, I'll probably do another show on this, really. I've done the picture on the thumbnail. We all seen, especially we spoke about on your podcast, mate, looking at Jürgen Klopp after the game, apologised, and I said to you yesterday, and obviously Alan, he's got nothing to apologise for. And I get, of course, and we've already spoke about tonight, of course, tactics on the football pitch, players and that, he's there to get the best out of them. We know that. It's sad, really, because he cares so much for this football club.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how blameless he is for our current predicament. If I'm going to be, completely honest, I don't if you're going to the last thing I want is for Klopp to go. I want with all of my heart for Klopp to stay. I had already written this season off by October. I was ready for us to finish 16th, and we still might. You never know. I think that Klopp has got it in him to turn us around. He could do it 10 times. He could do it 20 times. He's got everything you need in a manager. But if you go back, it doesn't mean he's blameless for the current predicament. If you go back to last summer, and I completely understood where he was coming from. He very publicly and very deliberately talked about how we did not need to sign any midfielders. Pep Linders as well, in a video, he said to somebody interviewing him, if you think last season was good, and you wait for this season that's coming up, which is the season we're in now. And, I got the impression, and you can forgive it, that after being so close to a quadruple, the faith was 100% that we could just go again, with Mo Salah signing a contract. Yes, Sadio Mane left, but we had signed
Diaz as well. Jota,
yes, Luis Diaz and Jota and Darwin Nunez as well. You could forgive them for thinking that everything is fine, but in retrospect, some of us, the people who have been clamoring is it's too often used as cliche, but people who have wanted to see dynamic number 8 box-to-box midfielders who can tackle a la Gini Wijnaldum since Gini Wijnaldum left, or even before, we've been proved right because, and this was just it was something that's glaringly obvious. We have a squad now where we have 2 players, as I've said before on KLOPP on podcast, 2 midfielders between the ages of, I think it's 22 and 27, and that's Naby Keita and Arthur Mello. Neither of whom are reliable enough. And if you want to, let's be very clear and honest, the bar this season has been set by Arsenal. Arsenal have got a fabulous young team, full of hunger. They're all about
they
the
look like
same
old
age.
school Liverpool, don't they?
Exactly, like we were in 2017-18. They're coming through and they're going to stick together. They're going to stay together. They're going to build on that by making one or two signings, and they can stay up there for the next 3 or 4 years. And we need to get to that level, and they're miles ahead of us. So what Klopp needs to do urgently, if he was the one who had arguments with Michael Edwards, if he was the one who had arguments and with everybody to allow them to leave or whatever, if that is the case, and nobody knows that, let's not pretend we know that we don't. But if that is the case, he has to urgently have the humility to say, right, I got that one completely wrong. Let's bring in 4 or 5 players in that age bracket, including a right back, move Trent to midfield because he's absolutely lost at right back with no cover, or buy really good cover in midfield who can cover Trent's position because he's so isolated. So that's a long answer to your question. Sorry about that. But I wanted to be thorough.
Yeah.
And I think I've said what I would like to say.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's on.
We need to replace Henderson and Gini Wijnaldum because we haven't replaced Gini.
Henderson, Wijnaldum, James Milner, Naby Keita, and Oxlade-Chamberlain. This is why I want 5.
Yeah.
That's the whole nearly half year team.
I like what I see from Bajcetic, by the way, but it's he needs to.
And Morton signed a new contract as much. As that triggered.
But both of those are 2 or 3 years off being at Arsenal's level, if they even get there.
100%.
Just a quick comment on the Arsenal thing. Are Arsenal taking advantage of the rest of the league being really inconsistent?
I think that's United that's taking advantage of that, to be honest with you.
Well, that too.
I think they've. I said it. I think Arsenal and Newcastle have improved. I think Newcastle will drop off because they haven't got the legs yet, or the team, or the squad to stay up there. But they've got the mindset now with that lift from selling the club because there's no more doom and gloom around the place. I think Arsenal have improved massively on what they were, and they stuck with Arteta. Whereas if it was Chelsea by now or anybody else, they would have dumped their manager. So you have to give Arsenal ownership credit for that. Well, mainly because they don't want to spend money. Arsenal owners half the time they've got a limit what they can spend, and they don't like spending on managers. So, I think Weber's done a fantastic job. I think that Liverpool, Man City have dropped off. Spurs have dropped off massively. Even Wolves have dropped off because they were up around there, battling in these places. West Ham have dropped off hugely. I think United have pretty much stayed the same, but I think whatever about Ronaldo's leaving or whatever, he was the top goal scorer, but they've just stayed the same really. And
I think they haven't. As you said, mate, a lot of teams have bottled this season. I know we're only one more game off being halfway through the season, but I've got a load of West Ham mates, and I'm looking at them, and they even tune into the shows, and they're all complexed, and it's like
Ten Hag has steadied things down. I don't want to give up. He steadied things down, and then Howard Webb coming back as well. Of course, that's the
12
For me, they've got Brighton improved as well. By the way, sorry, Brighton improved massively. Even under Potter, they keep stepping up every year after year. But I think they're taking off from where Wolves and West Ham were. And and Aston Villa were a couple of seasons ago.
Potentially getting a better manager as well, though. He's
been a good manager for him. We'll see. We've always said that guy who's the guy now that's at Wolves and Fulham and all of that. So he was at Wolves and Everton and doing well, and when he was at Wolves, and then he just dropped off. So it could be the same with De Zerbi, but we've got Jurgen Klopp. Just back the man, and we'll have we'll be straight back in there. If we were backed in this window, we'd be going on a 12 to 13 game winning streak. I can guarantee that, with maybe a couple of draws in between. Easily, we're capable of that. It's just that there's no balance there. There's nobody to back up.
But I think there is a formula in there, like getting the right players the right age bracket.
Yeah.
And the clubs that are doing well this season, Newcastle, for example, Man United, for example, they've got the core of their players are between 22 and
That's what we've done well,
28.
though, and a win, innit? And we
Exactly, and that's the formula. And same with Man City. Now Man City look cooked. There was that amazing stat posted by Henry Winter today on Twitter saying that Liverpool have only got one fewer point than Man City in the last sort of 10 league games or something like that. And it's they're struggling as well because they are also knackered. So, like the formula is that's what you need. You need these players, 22 to 28 years old. They can run, they can deal with the pace. And if you can't deal with the pace, you're going to be like we are this season, nowhere.
That's just goes to show you, Owen, how good Klopp is, because Pep has got a much deeper squad than what Klopp has, and he's only just managed an extra point. And if they're already knackered, then like where would this Liverpool team be without Klopp? Let's be honest. If we had somebody else and then it was doom and gloom and fella didn't have answers. I know Klopp's made a couple of bad excuses. I know he has, and he was right in one or two senses, But I think, nobody really bats an eyelid if it happens to Liverpool. But if it happens to like United or City or something, everybody's screaming bloody murder, When it comes down, look what happened with VR with United yesterday. I mean, that was a travesty of a goal that was allowed. And if that happened to Liverpool, they'd be all over social media screaming bloody murder. So
big up Hannah as well, who's just dropped this. If you want to look at this, we'll probably do another show on it, but appreciate Hannah. A quick gloss over it anyway, but the link is in the comments there, Chad, if you want to view this evening. From Swiss Ramble, I think they're a journalist company, aren't they? Or blog. Blogging in Switzerland. Obviously, financials, I think it's all about, as we can see here. Many Liverpool fans are unhappy with it. No. The summer only spent 37 million. I think this indicates, by the looks of it, Liverpool's spending compared to the likes of, obviously, the red representing purchases and the sale. Look at that. The red being a graph of Arsenal, all that spending. Can you see that, right, boys? Or in chat? I'll quickly zoom in there. It's a bit better. So the red indicates the sales, and obviously the green is obviously the players that they sold. So that is the summer 2021. Even though we spent prior. Look at that. That goes to show. I appreciate this, Anna. It's fantastic.
Sorry, is the green the players that you buy and the red
sale.
that you sell? Or
the green's the sales for the clubs, and the red
green is sales, and red is what?
The purchases. I think.
Okay.
So even though Liverpool spent 74 million player, probably after I'll have a proper in-depth look at this.
look at that.
The link is in the chat there, anyone. But I think all of us have a proper look into that, Hannah. But we do appreciate it. It'll be nighttime reading before we go back to work on Monday.
Don't have nightmares.
Don't have nightmares. Quickly battle for all these as well. But Spider, we spoke about Jürgen. Probably will speak a bit more on that anyway. New owners. What do you want to speak on?
No. I was just saying there. I was looking at the graph, and it is the green is sales for each club. So the first one is Arsenal, second one
You're
is
a bit
United,
out of focus there, lad.
Oh, am I? Sorry. How are you? Sorry. So the first one is Arsenal, second one is United, third one is City, fourth one is Chelsea, Spurs, and Liverpool are the last one. So that'll just show you that small little red and green in the graph is Liverpool at the very end. And it's just showing that our sales in green and our spending is that. So we're slightly overspending what we've sold.
Much better from Spider explaining it. You should have done it to me.
Since last season. So the first one is Arsenal. So they've only sold what's in the green next to the red bar, and then they've bought. You're talking 140 million plus. That was in the summer last summer. So if you're going to even the previous season, that's Liverpool again. For the previous season, where who's that? Chelsea have spent the most in that period of time at 330 million. They've sold 160, let's say, or something around that. So it's just going to show you that, like, they're most of the teams are selling half the money that they're spending, but the only time that Liverpool overspent was that season when we brought in Jota, Thiago, and Tsimikas. Which is the 110 million gross spend in the last 2 years only. So that'll tell you, even if we do that and we bring over the sales, we're 3/4 of what we've spent on selling, but it's not in the right areas. It's just, Jota was 45 million, Thiago was 20, and whatever Tsimikas was in that time. So it's not enough really, to balance it.
Yeah, it's really interesting, but there is a very simple mathematical thing that people don't often take into consideration when talking about transfers and transfer spending and how much clubs spend. Like Man United, you saw the massive difference between the red and green on those graphs. They have spent like 500 million net spend over the last five years. And they've won diddly squat because the mathematics behind it is very, very simple. It's the players and the quality of the players, as well as the manager, that wins you the trophies, right? So you have how many thousands of professional players in all the leagues around Europe and South America and Africa who are, probably the best 3 continents. Forgive me if I've missed one. But thousands and thousands and thousands of players, and everybody wants to be a football player. Not everybody. Lots of people want to be a football player, and they dedicate their lives to it, etc., etc. So you get this elite of these peak performers, and to be the best of the best, a la Mbappe, for example. That's a rare thing, right? That's a golden nugget.
Like Trent, would you say? Like one of the best?
Yes. For example, in terms of talent, it's a slightly different. I mean, it's a very different role in the team, but yes, absolutely.
0.03% kind of jobby. Yeah, that's what you're looking at.
Yeah. These are the golden nuggets. This is finding a golden nugget in your bar of chocolate. Not even the golden ticket. You actually find a chunk of gold in your chocolate bar, right? It's so rare, but there's so many players out there who can make your team a lot better, and they don't need to cost a lot of money.
I've been saying it, one. You could buy 4 players. Yeah, you can buy 4 players for 80 million right now, and fill the squad.
Exactly. Yeah. So we need 5. If we buy Bellingham and no one else, I don't know. I've never written a letter of complaint before.
I'm going to jump out of the window. As much as we'd like it, it'd be good.
Oh, no.
Like if Bellingham is in for the summer, and he probably, this is probably just Liverpool are probably just leaving Liverpool fans fantasize about that because they don't want to knock them off their mindset of maybe it'll be good in the summer if Jude Bellingham comes. That's what's covering their arse at the moment. But if they just went in and covered the midfield with at least 2 players in this window, at least we know that we can go and buy a Bellingham and somebody else in the summer. Maybe another young defender that's of top quality. You've seen how good Cole. Yeah, but look at Cole will against us yesterday. He was fantastic, against Mo Salah, and he'd be about 16 million.
Young lad Ferguson. People might go, Ferguson, but probably a lot of people would turn their nose up at that. But look at it, lads. We bought a whole relegated left back. Turned him into one of the best left back for 2-3 seasons.
There'll be good players going down this season as well. There's quality down there. Relegation fight.
Even if you go back to the 70s and 80s, and then League Ones, League Twos, the Aldridges, and the plenty of players as well. Nigel, obviously, there's a comment by Henry. It's what you really thought on Michael Edwards. Losing Michael Edwards was a big loss, only for Julian Ward to come in and then to leave. Does anyone else know why, or just your general thoughts on that situation, in all honesty, mate, and chat, let us know?
Bit weird, a little bit strange. Are they not been backed? Are they? Well, obviously they're not been backed because we're signing like 1 player a season, maybe, if we're lucky. And like we haven't, like, you were talking about quality players who are on the verge of, Nunes at Wolves. He's a super player. Controls the midfield like a Thiago. And like Portuguese international, played in the World Cup. Excellent player. Obviously, these two lads are getting fed up. They're giving recommendations to the board, or Klopp is giving them recommendations. I'd like this player, I'd like that player. Could you have a look at him? And then they're being told, "Oh no, there's no money," or something like that. Is it that simple?
And you know what, Nigel and lads as well, they then probably go to another club. And dare I say it, imagine if they went to Newcastle or someone that has got massive, endless pits of money that Mike Ashley
is appealing for a player. Yeah. It's appealing,
Everyone was like, "Oh, you just won't get Bruno Gomes." Oh, probably mispronounced that, but I thought I'd done well. When I'm like pronunciations, but you never know. And there was those rumours as well, chat a couple of months ago that he was linked with Chelsea. Was it Edwards or Ward? One of them anyway. I think it was. Edwards, time will tell. Time will tell.
Like for me, it's easy, Jack. Like if you're in the summer, look at the season that Paulinho is having at Fulham. Right? If we're not to get him now because he's only just kind of after coming in, would you take him like a James Milner in the summer as backup to Fabinho? I would. Because
that goes to what Nigel was just alluded to. Yeah. We should be getting those players before they move to Fulham.
Exactly, yeah.
Like we've got Portuguese speakers in Pep Linders, obviously someone that's very highly sought after. Thinking about the Portuguese market, we signed Diaz, signed Darwin Nunes. That's one that's very much slipped under the radar for me, mate. And that's.
Yeah, like they were buying. We are buying a lot of young players, and we're bringing them in and developing them well, and that's great and all of that. But I also think we need to start, as you said, buying these players around 22, 23 years of age that are already kind of a little bit seasoned, have a couple of good seasons under their belt in these lesser leagues, and then go that way, kind of like we did with Gakpo, really. But just kind of getting about 20-25 million. In that kind of way, 16-25 million, and then developing them that way, and then bring the other young lads in, and you have milestones then over 5 years where your Martins are ready for 3 years, but we've got guys that are ready for the next 2 years to come in there, and then edgy in these lads. It's just we should be really going into that market where it's hitting the 22-23 mark.
Yeah, well, I think Nigel's after shoot there, mate. So, thank you very much, Nigel. Very much appreciate it taking the time out this evening. Obviously, Nigel, me, Owen, Alan, and the lads on obviously the KLOPP on podcast. Very much be getting Nigel on very soon as well, mate. So appreciate it, Nigel. If you're still watching, matey. What were you going to say there, Owen? Obviously, onto Spider's point.
Oh, now it's a test of my short-term memory. I did far too many drugs in my youth to be able to remember what I was going to say 2 minutes ago.
Sorry,
no, it's no, it was something to do with the. I do remember. I'm lucky enough to teach English in the football industry here in France. Right, my students are from all over the football spectrum, right? I've had directors, coaches, all kinds of people involved in football, journalists, you name the job, even the kit man. I've taught them English, right? And I remember teaching recruitment people who work in a club in recruitment, and it's interesting how there is an attitude inside big clubs of we won't sign this player because they need to prove themselves first, which you can understand. But I think it's a bit silly when you get players of enormous talent. Like, for example, Erling Haaland, right? He came to Anfield with RB Salzburg and absolutely tore apart Virgil van Dijk and whoever his partner was at that day. And all of us seeing that, we were like, holy moly, there's the real deal. There you go, exactly. Nigel, you were there. And even in the stadium, I imagine everybody was absolutely purring about Haaland, right? Because it was bloody obvious that this is an incredible, and the other two, Hwang and Minamino. Yeah, they were very good as well. But if you got a guy like Erling Haaland, who at the time was 18 years old, 19 maybe, scoring 25 goals in 15 games, if you're a big club, like they'll say no, and that's what happened. He went to Dortmund first before going to City, and I find that really odd in the professional game, that you can't just take a punt, Harry Redknapp style, and get 5 of these kids who may or may not become great, but one of them will. If you can afford it, if you can afford to spend 100 million on one player, get 5 of them in, and 2 or 3 might be really good. You might hit the jackpot and get 4 or 5 really good,
especially with the infrastructure own as well. We've got one of the best young coaches that loves to get the best out of young talent as well, mate.
Yeah, totally. But I just found that interesting, how where we can talk about transfer strategy as if we're playing, Football Manager or whatever. But the big clubs, they don't want to take any risks. They want people who have proved themselves, and they don't want people are very, very cautious because they don't want to risk their reputations and therefore their careers, etc., etc. I get it, but I think it's silly at the same time, because if you get golden talents like Caicedo, such a young age, he's obviously going to be a brilliant player for years, unless he gets injured. Hopefully not.
Mm-hmm. Spot on, mate. Football snobbery, innit, gents and ladies as well. Football, the modern day era, obviously the great signings, obviously from the 70s and 80s. Sammy Hooper, the probably names that you should probably keep on picking out in the comments, chat. Yeah. Let me know your favourite cheap Gary McInnes today.
There we go. Joel Matip, James Matip.
Kenny for 1.5. Oh, what a sad that was. I know it was a different time. Everyone's like, bloody finances and everything, but you never know. I just wish. I would have said Ivan Toney, and I was banging a drum for Ivan Toney 2 years prior when he come into the Premier League. I was
love that guy,
the season they come into, that's for me, would have screams, could have got him for 15, 20 million. Now, of course, if he's put too many bets on and he might be banned for 5 years, we'll find out. Go ahead, Ivan. Hopefully Zach is coming today. Yes, Anfield, we can keep doing the season after. Big up, as well. Appreciate you tuning in, mate. Really disappointed the transfer policy should Deadwood's brought in at least 2 decent. It's a long show this evening as well, chat. I was late, so apologies. Apologies to the gents as well on the panel and everyone that was meant to join, but obviously me with technology, as you know. It's been an hour, gents. I don't want to keep it any longer. I'm going to quickly rattle through these. Obviously, big up Mark as well. The IP address from Scouse, big up, mate. The IP address for that Swiss Ramble account seems to point around the Boston area. Deep scan shows John Henry's basement. Probably, Scouse, big up there. We got no chance of Bellingham. That's 100% that. I agree with that. Come from Bellingham. Ollie was a useless coach. That's why United was so bad. The
good point.
I was hoping this fellow was a Dutch PE teacher, but sadly it doesn't look like he is. Looks like he's actual half decent coach. New owners, tell you what, that'd be a great one. New owners, just everyone agreeing in that. Said we were happy with his squad. So I see Madrid going against him, but
Carlo said he was. Just on the subject of that previous tweet there about the Deadwood.
Yeah,
we knew some of the players were getting old, but we didn't really see them as Deadwood, and now suddenly they're Deadwood. You know what I mean?
That's the fatigue.
They were playing really well this season.
Yeah.
That's the fatigue. Like we went to we nearly won all 4 trophies last season, lads. Let's if we just put our minds together and just put the 2 seasons together and don't think of them as separate entities. These lads finished in the second week of June and were back again by the 7th of July. So they had no turnover compared to the rest of the league. They played 63 games in the season last season. Every single possible game they played, with the help of, let's say, Minamino and Divock Origi coming in to change a couple of games in the cup games. I mean, that's what squad depth is all about. But the majority of the lads played the majority of games last season. I was expecting a drop off of going down to about third, maybe, and then maybe going for a Champions League and a domestic cup. But I didn't see it as this was.
Would you say Spurs? I think it was Hannah that put it in. A couple of people mentioned it. Or it's tonight. I think the lads have mentioned anyway.
Yeah,
selling the players at the wrong time over the last 1 or 2 years. I think we've already alluded to Mane. Obviously, we could have got a bit more for them. And other players, obviously, 4 midfielders, not ideal as a football club, would potentially that play into the point as well in terms of not selling the players at the right time.
Yeah, so Mane said he wanted to go the previous season. Klopp asked him to stay an extra year, so he stayed on, in fairness to him, and we bought Luis Diaz 6 months, prior to that, leaving. So I think he was planning it with Luis Diaz. I don't think Klopp himself realised how tired that midfield was going to get this season because of how many games they had last season. But I mean, if I could see it pre-season, I'm saying I'm worried about, if we don't invest in this summer to help the lads, we're going to be knackered next season. And that was my biggest worry, and it happened. So for me, it should have been foreseen, but I think that's just loyalty from Klopp to the players that have done it so well.
Sorry, Andrew. That was a great comment. I've got lads. Hang on. There we go. Yeah, there we go. What are we saying? Yeah, I don't know. No, it's a good comment. That me, baby face. It's all right. There we go. Bingo. But yeah, it's a good comment.
So you have to bring it down to the fact that it's either naivety from Klopp and not asking for a couple of good midfielders. This Arthur Melo thing, like going for Tchouaméni and then bringing in Arthur Melo instead, is just not, just not kind of. It's just not the right outcome for me because we knew his track record. Arthur Melo, there's a good player inside him, but. For me, as I said the other night, he's like that dude on TikTok, where the guy running around with the big ass inside in the shorts. He looks kind of like that in a way he's running.
I'm surprised you haven't bumped into him on a night out in town because supposedly when he was at Juve, he loves a good night out.
It was a car crash that kind of did him. And, he was a fantastic player. So it was he's unlucky that way. But we have to stop buying unlucky players because I don't know. They said the same thing about Joe Gomez. Never really had injuries, broke his leg twice, and now
Danny Ings is probably the most frustrating for me, lads. What a player! He would have perfectly fit Liverpool's philosophy. You look at what he's doing with Villa as well. Sturridge, he would have. Sturridge would have went down as one of the greatest ever Premier League strikers. If his legs weren't half as done.
But his family, that's a genetic thing because his family had the same problem. They all finished their careers early. His uncle had it, his cousin had it. Actually, 2 of his uncles had it, where he had the same calf issues and the same thing. And it's just how they are all fitting that, but they've never been able to develop those ligaments anymore, and they kept tearing them and stretching them and pulling them, and and then that leads to tendon issues. So that was his problem. He constantly had the same calf problems, and it's like having shin splints for life. Really, you can get through 3 or 4 games and then you're done with that kind of pain, and you can see the strain when he's trying to run. But look, we're at a point now where we're in a crisis. Let's call it a crisis, but it's brought on mainly by lack of investment plus complete breakdown and complete fatigue all around, mentally and physically.
Poor communication and everything that we've alluded to, mate.
And maybe a small bit of naivety as well on Klopp and his team's part. With regards Julian Ward and Michael Edwards, to me, Julian Ward's been influenced by social media because he said that he was saying that he keeps getting berated online, and this is one of his reasons for doing it because he doesn't think anybody has faith in him. And I'm like, who doesn't have faith in you unless you're reading social media? So that's social media driven there, and that just goes to show you again toxicity online and lack of knowledge base within certain fans. How football works is the biggest cause of these issues online, really.
Yeah, the one word that comes to mind, lads, as well, I don't know how you feel, patience massively is needed at the minute for all of us, every Liverpool
The team
fan.
deserves it.
Yeah, patience. We all know Liverpool, for 130-year history, the fans, we've not always been winning. We've had periods, of course. Of course, we want to be back on top. But if it needs 1 or 2 years, as much as it frustrates us all, it does. Man United fans winding us up for 2 years, as long as we knew. And of course, we can't guarantee success. We can't guarantee. But I think we've been in much worse situations. But
could you imagine what Twitter would have been like, lads? around the time of when Graham Souness took over and when Roy Hodgson was manager.
Yeah.
I think you just need to look at Everton Twitter for that to get an idea of what it's like.
Well, we're not quite that desperate.
All the Twitter spaces at Istanbul are 3-0 down against Milan. You would go, I'm putting in my seasons this one. I was like, oh, bloody hell. I would pay to go back into 2005 with an iPhone or something in a travel machine. We'll quickly rattle through these. Chat, if you got any closing thoughts, please do get them in now. Spider, quickly as we go around the room, mate. Any closing thoughts? Of course, we've got a lot more shows planned this week.
Look, it's obvious that one of the main issues of us not scoring first is a problem. It puts us on the back foot straight away, especially with the way it went down against Brighton. I mean, we were doing well. We were actually the better side at the end of the first half. When it came, Brighton they played really well. Let's say that, but for the last 16 to 18 minutes of that first half, it was kind of balanced in between, and then we took over and we were the better side, and we looked like we were going to score 1 or 2. But then immediately going to goal down again for the 15th time in 27 games or something like that. You know, that's too much for me. It's just there's no legs to track back, but also if we're going to be doing that, why play the high line still? If we're going to be conceding that many goals by counter attacks and balls through the middle of the park or over the top, so like we need to solidify that midfield in front of the defense first, which is why I think it worked when we switched to 4-2-3-1 halfway through the season, which got us those 6 or 7 games run in a row by changing that formation.
For me, play 2 6s. I think it was said to you last week, or you, Nigel, as well with Alan. I said, just play 2 6s. If you need to be a bit more defensive, do it.
Those triangles around their midfield can bypass any midfield. It means that they're on the back foot rather than us. And you think we'll be more defensive with the 2 6s and not enough creativity. 3 fellas behind the striker up front and creating triangle spots is a really good way to go. You just have to play the right players in there. It mightn't suit Thiago, but it'll suit Henderson and Fabinho. It'll suit Keita and Fabinho in that position. They're both number 6s there. Henderson, is he really a good number 6? No. You know, we always say that he's
everyone shouted that.
He was good at one point, but he's better as more of an attacking anchor, the same as Thiago. And I think Thiago, and then you could actually use Carvalho that we've bought in the summer. And we haven't seen much of. You get Gakpo can play on the left of that left attacking midfield. On the right, Salah can play there, you know, and just drift further out wide if he needs to.
Carvalho is going to be putting in a transfer request at this stage in the next 2 years if he doesn't get a game.
He needs to be played man in that number 10 role. And if Núñez is up front on his own and he can rotate between Carvalho and Gakpo, then it's a no-brainer really for me for the 4-2-3-1. Stick Naby and Fabinho next to each other in there. They're both. Naby said he likes winning the ball deep and then running with it going forward and creating space. He was brilliant with it at Leipzig. He used to win the ball on our defense side of the centre circle, and he used to run with the ball.
Man United, the 5-0 away. Look at him in that game.
Yeah,
brilliant. He was unreal.
Yeah, outstanding, and he was playing in that position as well. You know, so just
and the FA Cup semi-final against City as well. So we can do it when we want to, like that midfield when they play.
Brighton didn't have to play triangles yesterday. Yeah. They just walked straight through the big wide open gaps in our midfield.
If we create those triangles, they don't get them gaps because we're already bypassing their midfield, you know, because there's players in between their players to receive the ball all the time and lay it off. Because the thing with the 4-2-3-1 is that when they receive the ball, there's always a player to your left or right that's just deeper than that's going to receive it, and then you can run on, you know. So it's just for me, it's just a no-brainer, really. Just it was working for Klopp. I don't know why he changed it back to the 4-3-3. I think, as I said, there's a couple of naivety. A bit of naivety creeping in some of the tactics. It was just too predictable at the moment. Switching back to the 4-2-3, we were unpredictable when we were 4-2-3-1 for a bit.
Yeah, we've got a lot of shows, as I said, we want to get everything off our heads. And it's 100%. I say agree. Nigel, anything that you'd like to just
put Trent in midfield? Sorry.
Yeah, I said that 4 years ago. I said 4 years ago to one of my friends that Trent is going to end up in midfield. And he was looking at me like I had two heads. And he said, how do you think that? I said, because he's got the pace, he's got the creativity. Why not? Try something else. Like, I mean, we played 4-3-3 the last few games, and we got opened up like, I don't know, something easy to open, whatever it is. Terrible. We've been really, really terrible. Teams are just walking straight through us. It's like they're in a steamroller and we're a sardine can or something like that, or a bean tin. And they're just trampling over us easily. Like, it's very, very frustrating to watch that game yesterday when they just, let's go for a little stroll here through this nice big wide open gap in the middle of the field. Could bring a picnic with us. Like.
It's the thing, though, Nigel. I think all of us at the closing point. I expected that. I was speaking to Spider, I spoke to you lads as well early on in the week. Then I was speaking to Spider the night before. You went quite positive, Spider, didn't you? And I did pre-warn you.
Yeah. No, I knew that. I was saying at halftime, I was saying that there was a chance there for us to go and nick that because I think it's a smash and grab, and I believe in Liverpool are capable of doing that. But to instantly go a goal down a minute into the second half, that's when I turned over and said, okay, that's our issue right there. We're not learning the lesson. And I'm just thinking every game it's going to click and we're going to learn our lesson, but it just hasn't for the last couple of games. Now, considering that we won our previous few games right up back until October, you know, we've lost the last two, yes. But it's not all doom and gloom, lads. Like there's a period where any team can have a dip in the league. City can go on and have 2 or 3 game losses in a row and draws, and then go on and win the league. So for me, we're too far behind to do anything like that. But top 4 is not out of reach. It's not 10 points. It's only 7 points at the moment.
Yeah,
so
especially how strong the Premier League is, we already discussed tonight, mate. I think for the next couple of seasons there will be you'd say 80 points potentially in the next couple of seasons, if, as we've alluded to, if Arsenal improve, if Newcastle improve, you'd anticipate surely, unless Liverpool or City or someone else does another madness and gets 90, mate, then they'll chip away at each other.
Yeah, it's gone. I think it's gone for a few seasons now where somebody's going to be hitting 96, 97 points or anything like that. You know, it'll be one at 84 to 87 points. I think that kind of way for now. Maybe even 83. You know, but
insane levels for about 3 or 4 years. It was incredible.
We keep the league going. We're the only ones that have been battling City from walking the league, you know, from turning this into a PSG league, you know. So we're the only ones that did it, and we did it on a shoestring budget. I'm just like, for me, just back Klopp now and make us not financially, we're already a powerhouse, but make us squad depth more on par with City. And I don't mean spend stupid money. I mean just buy £30 million players, you know, that are of good quality, and let Klopp turn him to elite. You know, his best feeling when he's running the team is turning players world class. He doesn't like buying them and coming in and then saying, like, then having some sort of ego prior to coming in. You know, he likes to bring people in and then bring their attitude up to a certain standard, which brings their gameplay up to an even higher standard. So just buy these players for Klopp. You wouldn't even have to spend more than 90 million to get 4 players in of Klopp's ilk, I'd be honest with you. So yeah.
No, I'd agree there, lad. 100%. Owen, you conclude on that, on the two lads' points as well. We're gonna do. I think all of us, everyone's gonna just be talking, even with our mates in work or with your relatives at home. You just be walking into a room and going, just looking at the wall and probably banging your head against the wall. Come on, lads, sort it out. Well, Owen, closing thoughts, mate, on there. I said, well, all 3 of us, I'll hopefully get you 3 back on this week, and we'll there's so many talking points, and there'll probably people tuning in going, oh, you haven't mentioned this, but hopefully we will. Very much, mate.
No, I mean, thank you for the opportunity to be here. It's great speaking to everybody on the panel and in the chat. Thanks for the comments, including the very funny one about the evolution of the football. That was absolutely hilarious. But no, what you were talking about with tactics. I don't have a solution as such, because I think the 4-2-3-1's a very good idea. But what I can tell you, I mean, like any armchair critic, I can tell you what not to do. And that was what we did several times, especially in the second half against Brighton. And it's also what we've been doing a lot this season. 4 at the back, 1 holding, and 5 up front when we don't have the ball.
Yeah.
But those 5 up front are just standing there.
You've got to come
jogging.
Yeah.
They're jogging. They're not pressing. They need to be absolutely on fire. But of course, we don't have the legs to be on fire, or we don't have the organization or whatever. So I just want, FFS, change it, Jurgen, in some way. Either put the rocket up the front players, let they hound like the hounds of the Baskervilles, or change something. 4-2-3-1, where it goes, just do something. There's that in terms of the tactics that the guys were talking about. And also, patience is a great word that you mentioned before.
I think, Owen, the biggest point, and I think what it has been for the last 130 years, Liverpool Football Club, it's going to be the fans that help this Liverpool side get through this period.
Yeah, in the stadium.
Especially obviously amazing away fans, and Jürgen apologising for them yesterday. I think it will be a case in point. If we need to do a load of bus greetings and rival fans go, "Oh, it's stupid," wherever in the league, but we just need to stick together. We need to get behind these players as much as they frustrated us this season. I think that turning point potentially will be the crowd, and if we can get Anfield rocking, it will very much give them the confidence, I feel.
It can help in massively, and that's true. And I don't want to underplay it. And I just think, just look at us. There's just the simple things until the simple things are fixed, aka the midfield, and possibly moving Trent from right back, just stopping everybody being so isolated and there being so many gaps. The attack for going from us attacking to us defending, that transition is like lamentably bad. No amount of cheer or positivity is going to change that until we actually sort it out somehow.
Yeah. No, we were speaking to me, you, and Alan, weren't we, yesterday? We've got Alisson Becker making 5-yard passes into his defence, and even when things are up when Ali's making mistakes, Ibu and Matip. But I've had this for long enough, an hour and bloody 20 minutes. I really do appreciate it, lads, as well. Owen, please, obviously, do shout out your podcast and where everyone can find you. Obviously, a link if you are watching on the repeat as well. Mark, can you please drop? Obviously, there's all the socials as well in the comment section below, Owen. Just shout out where everyone can find you, please, Owen.
Yeah, KLOPP On is mainly an audio podcast. We do little bits on YouTube, but so you can Google it or search on wherever you listen to your audio podcasts. You'll find if you're on Spotify, we're on there, and if you're on whatever Apple users use, we're on there as well. Thanks to everybody.
Massive thank you again, mate, for always coming on. Absolute legend. Love getting your insight as always. Spider, are you gigging tonight?
I'm gigging tonight at midnight. Yeah,
I thought you were going to be late. I was expecting you to come on for 20 minutes.
I don't have to be. I have 2 hours before I have to kind of be at the venue to sound check. So it's because it's a theater place. Yeah, it's midnight until 2 a.m. So because we're kind of because we're a rock band, so everybody is just getting merry by the time we're starting, and then it's just all heads just going like this inside the crowd for like. We
all need to go and see Spider. All the panelists as well. We'll go on one night and see Spider.
Tonight we're in the Crane Lane in Cork. So we're there tonight, but majority of the time, like 90% of our gigs are festivals. But it's not the festival season right now. So we play like big venues that hold like a few hundred people or a couple of thousand people normally. And that's the kind of way we go. We're kind of, because I've done the whole gigging thing for years, where I've done the wedding band stuff and all this kind of stuff. And I still do that on that side. And that's kind of, that way. But passion wise, man, we're just aiming as a rock show so that it just sells tickets rather than venues paying you or anything like that, because that's where the money is really, and that's where the respect is at that level. So that's kind of where we're at now. So it's pretty cool,
And Irish Spider Guy on obviously Twitch.
Oh yeah, Irish Spider Guy on
Spider
Twitch.
LFC on YouTube. You know where to find him, chat as well. Similar with Owen as well.
Hello, Diogo. By the way, he's always coming in calling me.
Yeah, Jose.
Some sort of UFC champion, and
it's Conor McGregor by the looks of it. I think so.
I don't know because I've always had like a beard was more like a stubble beard, but like my hair was always like Mr. kind of like similar to you, Jack, Mr. Like gel in the hair, quiffed up and stuff. That's the way it was.
Oh, I don't do that.
I've only just been rocky since the pandemic. I've just let the hair grow long and just did it that way, So, but it suits the band now, so it's great.
Yeah, no, it's good. Nigel, massive thank you, mate. Hey,
no problem. Irish Red 11 on Twitter.
Aye. What is it, mate? Sorry.
Irish Red 11.
Yeah, Irish Red.
Capital R.
Irish Red 11. I'll do a post anyway, and obviously retweet it on everyone's socials and the usual malarkey. But massive thank you, Nigel. Massive thank you to obviously Spider. Massive thank you to Owen, and of course a massive thank you to every single one of you this evening that is tuned in. Reds, we're gonna stick together. Difficult times bring difficult moments, especially supporting Liverpool. Not always sunshine and rainbows, as much as people on Twitter would hope it is. we have been rubbish. We've been good. We've been rubbish again, and we've been good again. We will be good again, Reds. It's just when that will be. Hopefully, a lot being in very much in the future. And Russ, big up the Arsenal as well. Big up Arsenal. Get in, Arsenal. If Liverpool can't win the league,
you'd rather Arsenal do it.
As long as you stop City in the league and United, happy days to us. We'll be all happy, mate. Don't bottle it, Russ, because I'll be ringing it up every single bloody night crying. But big up there, mate. Great stuff, lads, as well. As I said, massive thank you to every single one. There we go. Cheers for that, Mark. Appreciate it. But chat, enough of me talking. We'll have a lot more shows planned. The lads on their podcast as well. We'll be sharing out all their socials if they are doing podcasts, which they will be, because there's a lot, as we've already discussed tonight, to talk about the Reds. But Reds, big up yourself, going to work tomorrow with your chin up high. 6 European Cups, 19 Premier League. You know the score. Yeah. Certain clubs haven't even got one Champions League, but no comments. See you later, Reds.